halachas of Erev Rosh Hashanah. So one of the things that we do on Erev Rosh Hashanah is Hataras Nedarim, annulment of vows. Why is this? Because we want to go into Erev Rosh Hashanah with a clean slate, and this annulment of vows actually accomplishes twofold accomplishment. One is it annuls the vows from the previous year, as well as we also say in anything which we do for the coming year, we do not want it to take on shouldn't be binding like a vow. Now it's important to note that these only works for the ones that we forgot about. So if a person made a vow over the course of the year and he forgot about it, or this is the more likely case because most of us Baruch Hashem don't make vows, this is generally discouraged. If a person does what's called an minhag, a good, proper thing to do, a good minhag, something that he's not required to do, but something that it's a nice minhag. So what would be an example? Let's say benching from a bencher, right? All the poskim and all the Bali Musar say we shouldn't, when we bench, we say Berks and Muslim, we shouldn't just say it by heart, even if we know by heart, but we should make sure to say from a siddur. In fact, Rav Shach, I think, the great Rav Shach, when he made a Kabbalah on himself for Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, his Kabbalah was that he's going to be careful to only bench from a bencher. I think he said till Chanukah, as my Rosh used to say. The idea is when we take on Kabbalahs for ourselves, we don't want to take on big things that never will last. We want to take things that are actually manageable and doable. So let's say a person accepts upon himself to do it, or not only accepts upon himself, but he does it 3 times in a row. That takes on the status of a vow, and therefore it's always good when a person does start to do something good. He always should say, "I'm being makabel this, I'm accepting this, b'li neder," without a vow. That's why you always hear people saying b'li neder, because they're stressing and emphasizing that it does not take on the status of a vow. So this Hataras Nedarim which we do only helps for things that a person did forgot about. But something which a person knows for a fact that he made a vow, then this does not suffice, and rather he should do a proper Hataras Nedarim. We're going to see that there's many leniencies here that we don't have with a regular Hataras Nedarim. So this does not work. These leniencies do not work for something which he specifically forgot. And if a person can think of such a thing, he should go to a beis din, and a beis din will guide him in how if it's possible, how to annul the vow. Yeah.
So how is that different than from Kol Nidrei?
Oh, so that's a good question. What's essentially the difference between? How is it different, and why are we doing it twice?
Is one of the community versus single?
That's an interesting idea. I'm not sure. The language wouldn't seem to indicate that. It's a good question. It does show the importance of how seriously we take vows if we're doing it right before Hashanah and the entrance into the Kippur itself. But yeah, that's a good question. In fact, we're going to see in a second. I'll mention it now. It's unclear where this custom. Sometimes we have customs that we're not sure exactly where the source of it is. Women do not have the custom to do Hataras Nedarim, and it's not sure why. They are also equally commanded in vows. However, for whatever reason, it did become customary that they're not accustomed to do normal vows. Now, generally, the halacha is a woman can make her husband her agent to annul her vows. So sometimes you'll hear people say that when they say it in front of 3 people, they're saying, "I'm doing this on behalf of my wife as well." However, most people don't even do this. It's not entirely clear why. Some did have, in fact, the Ben Ish Chai. So those who are Sephardim, maybe they're more machmir. He did say that women should do it. However, for whatever reason, it seems to become customary that they don't. Some people say that what they should do is they should rely on Kol Nidrei. What? That's only So that only works for washers and Amarasa, or if it's something that directly relates to him. But let's say it's something like she accepts upon herself to daven 3 times a day. He has no power to annul that. Okay, so that we do Hataras Nedarim. It does not have. We do it after Shabbos, but it does not have to specifically be after Shabbos. There are some who say that, I'm looking around the room, I don't think it's going to be so relevant for us, but some people say that when it comes to matters of the Oraisa, Torah level things, we do not rely on the fact that a boy turns 13 and we automatically assume he's an adult, halachic adult. Rather, he has to show signs of adulthood. Because since this Hataras Nedarim, annulment vows, is a Oraisa level matter, therefore we do not rely on this chazaka, on the presumption that once a boy turns 13, that he automatically is an adult. Rather, we have to know that he has signs of adulthood. Now, the way it's supposed to be is that the person annulling vows stands, and the people sitting, kind of like the setup of a beis din, that a beis din, they sit while the person stands. However, this is not, if a person does it, sits for whatever reason, it too works. And there's a few other things as well. Normally, the person sitting on the beis din and the litigant, we'll call him, can't be related to each other. Right? That'd be a conflict of interest. But when it comes to Hataras Nedarim, we allow this, and therefore, even if they're related to each other, is not a problem. And there are many questions. People, when you look through the text of this in Hataras Nedarim, it seems to say things which are questionable or difficult to understand. For example, we say Nazir Shimshon, that I intend to remove upon myself even Nazir Shimshon. Now, there's only one slight problem: is that Nazir Shimshon is a lifetime sentence, right? There's no such thing as annulling the Naziris of Shimshon. But however, nevertheless, one should basically read as printed in the Siddur, even though there are many questions. And
I don't know what a Shimshon is.
oh, Nazir Shimshon. Okay, so we know that a person could accept upon himself to become a Nazir, right? So Nazir Shimshon is essentially that, but for a lifetime. A normal
You're not
period.
allowed to make a lifetime neder according to the Halachic, or at least from what I read.
Yeah.
It's only a 30 days, 60
Right.
days.
So that's a standard one. That's the standard one. But there's also, on top of that, there's also such a thing called Nazir Shimshon. Well, I mean, it wasn't called at the time, but
Isn't that prohibited to do it for a lifetime?
is it prohibited to do? Yeah, I mean, that's the regular. We know that Chazal, the rabbis say that he brings a carbon, a chatas, a sin offering, because he's not supposed to do it, but if he does it, then it works, right? So even though technically there's no such thing as annulling Nazir Shimshon, for some reason it found this way in the text, and many of the commentaries grapple with exactly how to answer this language. Yeah.
So basically, if you not mention, if you don't say I'm doing this and that for a specific reason, but you just do things, and it's another week, a lot of things like you say, I got to work, each one of
Yeah.
his own, reading every morning, reading every Shabbat, standing while you're reading the Torah. How many, like after 3 times it's a neder, or?
Yeah. That's why a person should be careful. That's why the post can caution that a person should always say.
So
Again,
before I'm doing that every Shabbat,
Yeah.
and before I'm standing for the Torah, I need to say
I guess before the 3rd time at least. I guess that's when it takes effect. Yeah, but I'm not sure. It's a good question. Like everything that a person does that fall into an minhag tova? What exactly? If I decide to, I don't know.
Stop doing that. Today, I don't know, my back is hurting. I don't want to stand up on the reading the Torah. I don't have time to read the Shabbat. So that's breaking a neder, or that's breaking a minhag tova?
No, it takes on the status of a neder after 3 times. That's why a person should be careful to say in neder. Okay.